This is the Erica Latrice Show, your one-stop shop for inspiration.
You've probably read several things from our next guest on Behind the Story in the local newspaper. He is a writer for the Sun Journal, but he is also a very intriguing person. I found myself literally wanting to grab my notebook and just jot down words of wisdom as I listened to him share his story.
My name is Bill Hand, and I'm a writer and photographer for the Sun Journal as my official job, and just a general writer and digger around and actor, director, otherwise, of theater. I do what is called an actor-friendly, a family-friendly theater for actors. We do little shows where rehearsal is a lot lighter for if you've got a family and you want to do theater, but you want to see your wife once in a while, that kind of thing. But it's a comic murder mystery, and these plays last about an hour. They take about 2 hours altogether, but an hour of performance time, another hour where the actors are mixing with the audience a little bit, talking to them as characters. And they're comic plays, and this one, since it's Christmas, we decided not to kill anyone. We just simply kidnapped Father Christmas. And Mother Christmas has called her gang together of fictional characters to help her solve it, and she's brought in Ebenezer Scrooge and Tiny Tim, and Tiny Tim's now this adult cranky guy because he's had to be Ebenezer's conscience for so many years. It's kind of rubbed off on him, and we've got Want, a little dark emo girl from the same story, and then we've got the happy, silly, and naive couple from Gifts of the Magi, and Jack Frost, all working together to figure out who on earth kidnapped Father Christmas. It's a lot of fun. There's a saying that's just very profound and very simple: writers write. And when God made me, he said, I'm going to give this guy a pen. I'm not going to give him much other talent, but I'll let him know how to write. And there's a verse in Jeremiah chapter 20, verse 9, and this is a wild, extreme re-rendering of what it says. But he's basically saying, and he's speaking of preaching the word of God, but he is saying, people tell me to shut up, people tell me to quit talking. But when I try, and I've tried, it's like fire in my bones, it has to come out. And that's how I feel about my writing. And my communication, and the ultimate goal is always to, one is to entertain, hence the plays. We all need that entertainment, we all need that storytelling, especially through the newspaper and things like that. It's to make a difference, to make people's lives better, and to draw attention to the ordinary people. One of the favorite stories I ever did was I took 5 days, and on each day, my goal was I go out on the streets, I find a total stranger, and I say to them, what's your story? And the idea was everybody's got an interesting story, and sure enough, every person I stopped had an interesting story for me, and it made newspaper articles out of it. I honestly can't say I can ever think of a time that I ever would have wanted to quit. I mean, you get tired, you get exasperated, there are times you begin to wonder, is it worth it? But it's that drive that I said I have. I have to speak, and if I'm silent too long, I go crazier saying nothing than saying something. And a lot of the something I say may be drivel, I don't know, but I have to talk, I have to reach out. To go for that passion, we're in a culture where you're driven to succeed in the worldly way. You've got to science, engineering, that kind of thing. And the whole idea is get out there and make money. If your passion is to do something, you want to make a living, but if your whole goal is how much money can I make at it, you're going the wrong way. And the heart, to satisfy the heart, to satisfy God, to satisfy whatever you would replace as God in your life, that's the important thing. And I've had a lot of people tell me I could not make it. I told my guidance counselor in high school, he said, what are you going to do with your life? I said, I'm going to go to college. I was kind of a weird, neurotic kid. He looked at me for a minute and he says, Bill, I really think you ought to do something more like pumping gas. And I ignored him. When they talk you down, ignore them. Maybe you're not going to be that person who's going to be in that little tiny wedge that's going to really explode. But you know what? You don't know it until you find out on your own. I have always grown up being, I had a lot of physical problems growing up. I had a dozen or more surgeries by the time out of high school. I graduated in a walking cast. I was always the backward kid, the loner kid, the kid that they'd come down to the last two choices for the ball game, and they had to argue over who got stuck with me and that kind of thing. So I think I've just always had that always moving against me, and I've got the drive to say, no, I'm better than that. There's good in you and there's hope. It's in there, so.
For more inspiration, visit us online at ericalatrice.com.